Hi everyone, it's me, Margot, and I've been kind of busy lately drawing a lot of things and just trying to get in the habit of recording more. This image I drew probably back in January originally, and then I just photoshopped over it in the last week or so. Um, Originally, I was challenged on Tumblr by my girlfriend to do a close swap with my favorite character. And my longtime favorite character, who's like always been a favorite of mine ever since I was little, has been Hellboy. And I really love him. And it just so happens that the anniversary of the first Hellboy movie coming out was, I think it was today or yesterday. It was recently. And I mean, I'm not much of a movie buff, but Ron Perlman, I believe, made a status about, or made a tweet about it being the anniversary. So I was like, this is perfect timing, and I jumped this speed paint above, or I reordered my speed paints on how I'm gonna do them, and so this one cut above my little original character, which I've been doing a lot of, and also I've been doing a lot of self portraits, which this happens to be one of those. But Hellboy is a lot of fun. Since it's clothes swap, his clothes or the clothes he's wearing are like really small on him. I'm really small, but I'm really busty. Fortunately for Hellboy in this image, because I have to get like large shirts, even though I would typically wear a small. And fortunately for him, I also wear like big pants because I like feeling like I have a lot of space. So, I mean, they're really short on him anyway because he's 7 feet tall. I had to look it up just to make sure, but he's 7 feet tall. And I wanted this to be more colored focused, so I went with purples for me because that's my favorite color. And I went with Ralph red for Hellboy because, I mean, he is red, so you can't really blame me for that. I mean, it was the obvious choice. And, so that's what I went with. I tried not to do like such overly bright colors for myself, at least, but I think that I went really, really bright with Hellboy. Um, I think he's got really, really bright colors on him as at the end, but I feel like it's worth it. um, the lines didn't take me that long to draw. I don't think so anyway. I mean, I took half. I spent half and half. I also did this video in two segments, so the quality of the video might change. I'm not quite sure. I downloaded a new OBS software. Not new necessarily, but the last time I downloaded OBS was a little over a year ago, and then I went to their site to see if there was anything to update or upload, and it's just a whole different new OBS well, not completely different, but it's got some changes that I really like, and I think it makes it easier to work with. But once again, here I am doing my common mistake because I'm not used to Photoshop and drawing on the wrong layer. And I'll do that several times in this video, which is it's just wonderful. But as I was gonna say before, I really I tried to draw Hellboy, and I think myself in the original Hellboy style, like from the comics. And I really like that style because it's really geometrical, and it's nice to make it like, I don't want to say it makes it look gritty, but it does put a lot of drama into, I mean, because it's just it's primarily geometrical. It puts a lot of drama into the image, which I really like. I like drama and dramatic, and I if you've read the Hellboy comics, there's like a lot of just like solid black space because that's how it was shaded, and I really enjoy that too. I just enjoy the drama of all of it and the scenes and just how it all plays out. I think the first Hellboy movie I watched was one of the animated ones. I think it was the one with with the vampire lady, Elsbeth, I think was her name. I also watched the one where he goes to Japan and is like, oh, it's the sword and stuff because typical Japan kind of stuff that is usually emulated in Western animation. Um, it's just all over enjoyable. I really love Hellboy and basically everything about it. I did really enjoy the Hellboy movies, but I also really enjoy how the comics play out, and I know Del Toro really likes to play up action, so I really don't blame him. I really don't. I'm I'm not unhappy with the choice to make everything actiony in the movies because story can get really slow, and it's really hard to do the kind of like short fairy tales that are done in the comics. I mean, they're not really fairy tales, but they're like Hellboy dealing with fairy tales, and I just really enjoy it. Um, and I believe I skipped there was a moment in here when I stopped recording when I was coloring myself, and you probably noticed it, but I was busy talking about the comics and stuff, so I didn't get it pointed out when it happened. But I'm hoping that that happens less often because I've got ADHD, so I get really distracted really easily, and I'll just be like, oh, all right, I want to do this one thing. And so I just do it no matter what task I'm in. Like, no matter what task I'm doing, I'm just like, all right, I'm done doing this. And like, I completely forget that I was actually doing something. So it's a lot of fun. I'm kidding. It's not a lot of fun. It's actually kind of stressful because sometimes I just don't get things done. But I really like the geometrical shapes that are in the traditional Hellboy style, and it's just really fun to work with and use because it's dramatic. I can't say it enough that it to me it's dramatic. It's like it's thematic and it's dramatic and it just implies a lot. It implies a lot of mood and like it's not like actiony, but it is like it's it's not. I mean, it is actiony. Don't get me wrong, it is actiony. But outside of that, it very much sets the tone of the mood for what goes on in the Hellboy universe, like dealing with the regional kind of fae, like the Baba Yaga, and um, it's been a really long time since I've actually read Hellboy comics because I've been moving around so much, but I just I can't get over Hellboy ever. And it's unfortunate that the third movie didn't happen, but it's also just like I was kind of afraid to see like how Liz was gonna play out because she'd kind of just like in Hellboy 2, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movies, I really did. But it in Hellboy 2, Hellboy and Abe were kind of acting really weird around the women, like you don't just like watch someone sleep because you're drunk and you really love them. I don't know. I mean, like for Hellboy, it was probably a little more normal because they share a fucking room. But it was just it was. like thinking back on it, it was just really, really weird to me. It was really weird and kind of struck me as a little bit problematic. And I mean, it I can enjoy the film like on its own, but like the minute I start like thinking about the things that happened, I'm like, oh, those are definitely things that happened. Not sure if I'm fond of them. Um, yeah, those things happened. Hopefully they don't happen again. And so I was kind of worried with how Hellboy 3 would have been taken. I mean, I'm sure I would have enjoyed the story for what it was, but like, I feel like if I boiled it down again after watching it, I would be like, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about the things that actually happened in this story. And maybe wouldn't have enjoyed it so much. And also, I don't know, I don't deal with pregnancy or children well. Um, so I like since Liz was pregnant with twins, it was just like I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. And also a majority of the segment coming up is just me trying to make plaid work in Photoshop and getting very, very confused. And so I had to delete a bunch of layers after trying it a bunch of times because instead of erasing it, I was just like, deleting it'll be easier and creating a new layer will be even easier. And it was an adventure. It was such an adventure. I was not happy with the adventure, but it happened. So I have to accept it. And I made like this color palette to like give myself some colors to work with, and then I proceeded to delete it right after, and I immediately regretted it when I was like, oh, those colors aren't there anymore. Whoops. So it was a lot of fun making plaid. I'm saying this sarcastically. Um, it was a huge struggle to make plaid in Photoshop. When I'm not in Photoshop, I usually just sit there and look at it and decide where I want plaid to be. And usually, I mean, you see the lines where I outline and guide myself on where the stripes should be and where they shouldn't be. And then I eventually just add lines around that to make plaid, and I was very frustrated right there. um, so it's a lot easier to make plaid in traditional media for me, at least. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it. It was a lot easier when I realized I could just layer it up. Just use a bunch of layers and then smash them all together and be like, yes, this is perfect. It's just fine. Nothing is wrong. I've never made a mistake in my life, ever, never ever, not once when making this plaid, and not once have I drawn on the wrong layer, like ever. So it's fine. Um, the one thing I do regret about this piece is that I did not draw a background or like make a background in general. But the main point of this image was to make a clothing swap with my favorite character. So it also works out well to like put the focus on myself and Hellboy, and not put a background. But I do still regret it. I was just I was just failing to come up with any idea, though I could have just used tentacles since that's a reoccurring theme in Hellboy. But I'm almost done here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a wonderful day. It's not done, but it is almost done. So keep watching and I hope you have a great time. Thanks for watching.